Deputy Mattie McGrath.
Well, I was Kate Kirst. Why was there a 7-month gap to fill retired Justice Mary Finlay-Gagan's position, followed by a frenzy of activity at the general election time once Seamus Wolf had applied for the position in January?
Minister.
Again, Deputy, I can set out 16th of June last year, vacancy arose. 4th of February, Chief Justice wrote to the Minister. 17th of February, letter to JAB to try and fill that. 18th of February, Minister responds to Chief Justice letter of the 4th of February indicating the issue to JAB to request a list. 25th of February, Chief Justice replies to letter of 18th indicating JAB meeting scheduled for 9th. JAB met on the 9th. 11th, the list was received. In between that time then, there was a general election, there was an interim government, there was a very clear decision taken not to appoint anyone bar the President to the High Court for the reasons I've outlined. It was made aware to me that this was urgent. At the same time, I did take the time to look at all of the names. I did not appoint somebody immediately. There were 2 or 3 Cabinet meetings that happened before I eventually brought a name to Cabinet.
Thank you. Deputy McGrath.
Why was there a 14-week gap between when Minister Flanagan, or Deputy Flanagan at that time, receipt of Seamus Wolf's name from the JAB and it coming to the new Cabinet? And, you know, in that same time, Ms Mary Éireann was appointed to the presidency of the High Court during the caretaker government interim period. But Mr Wolf's appointment was kept back for the new government. Ken Faw.
Minister.
Again, Deputy, I have outlined that a decision was taken by the interim government not to appoint anybody except to the presidency of the High Court because of the obligations upon the presidency and I suppose the requirements for that. The decision was taken not to appoint anybody else. However, I was made aware on my first day that there was a vacancy, that this was something that was urgent. Even with that, though, I made sure that I took the time to give everybody due consideration before I made a recommendation. But this recommendation was made within about two or three weeks, I think, from government being formed.
Deputy McGrath.
I wonder would it be anything to do with the fact that Minister Ross and the former Ministers McGrath were in the Cabinet at the time as well. We'll have let the people judge that. I'm asking you, Minister, now, as new Minister, the Judicial Complaints Board, and I believe the offices are rented and it's staffed and it's everything but a doorman. I said, when will that be in action? When Joe Soap or Joe Public can make a complaint to that board that was passed by this House and signed by the President-in-law 7 or 8 months ago? When can the public get access to that, or what's the delay, or who's been protected by not having this complaints board in place?
Minister.
In terms of judicial conduct in that process, everything that has been done or needed to be done by myself, the Department and the Government has been done. The terms of reference are now being set out by the Judicial Council. They have a certain period of time to do that. I am assured that they are working on that and will have that done as soon as possible. But I can assure the Deputy everything that needed to be done from our part has been done. The terms of reference are now being set out by the Judicial Council.
McGrath.
This is like a former presenter of Kelly House, I think he was O'Hanlon, I can't think of the name. Around the house, Concola, mind the dresser. We have to mind things here. I know we have Can Stray, but this was passed, and why isn't it in action? Why can't the public today, many of them who feel aggrieved? Deputy Connolly mentioned about they not being able to access it, but some that have accessed those places, especially lay litigants, have complaints to make, and there's no complaints process. Even though this House has implemented it, passed it, who's blocking it?
Minister.
I can confirm nobody is blocking it. There is a process, there is a time frame. It is with the Judicial Council. They are setting out the terms of reference, and I'm assured that they will come back as soon as possible. But from this House's point of view, everything that has been done or could be done at this stage has been.
That's strange, because we passed laws here about vulture funds, and we passed laws here to remove the hearsay evidence and or to implement the hearsay evidence, and it's implemented immediately. Why do we have to wait for a year nearly to have this body that's set up and staffed and rented buildings and everything else, and a great cost to the taxpayer, to deny the taxpayers the luxury, not luxury, but the solace of making a complaint, not saying how far it'll go or where it'll get, but it's farcical that we spend time, and a lot of time here. And I want to thank Minister Ross as well for all his work on that. And then it's set up and signed by the President-in-law. People would expect that it would be up and running. Why is it not up and running?
Minister, to conclude.
I can only refer to my previous comment. It is often the case where legislation is signed into law here, and there is a period of time where that then has to be enacted. In this instance, it is with the Judicial Council. They're setting out the terms of reference, and I have no doubt that when that is done, this process and this procedure can get up and running.